Lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let's see. Is that song in here? Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song. Okay. That song is... I'm in the Celebration Hymnal book here, and I'm looking for Lift Every Voice and Sing, and I don't see it in this book here. I think there's a reason why. Uh-oh. Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the evening edition. Baby. How y'all is? Come on in. Water fine. I was looking at this book here. This is a celebration book where there's a whole bunch of beautiful hymns in this thing here. Whole bunch of them in here. And a lot of the old and the new and even the ones that y'all ain't even wrote is in this book. But I got a little problem here. Because the Negro, African American, colored folks hymn ain't in here. Lift every voice. America the Beautiful. Let's see. Heal Our Land. A King of the Nation. Star Spangled Banner. You know that's going to be in there. If My Peeps. Battle Hymn of the Republican. Or the Democrats. If My People Hearts Are Humbled. Oh, Canada. It's in here. My Country 'Tis of Thee. Okay, God of our fathers. I don't see lift every voice. And then doxology. That means that's it. It's not in here. It's not in the hymnal. I wonder to the why. You shouldn't wonder why. Let me find a hymnal that we sing from. Okay. Here's one right here. This is Yes, Lord, Church of God in Christ hymnal. Let me find out what the battle hymn of the Republican is. Or if you're a moderate, battle hymn of the moderates, okay? Battle hymn, that would be it says page 502, I think it is. Let's see, 502. If you find the battle hymn, maybe you can find, okay, that's Star Spangled Banner, that's there. Oh, Freedom. That's in here. Battle Hymn 502. There it is. America the Beautiful. My country. Yeah, that. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. There it is. 506. Lift every voice and sing. James Weldon to the Johnson. I think the lyrics is sheet music is by R. Rosemont Johnson. Okay. 1927. That's something else. You know, y'all never sang the third verse because you don't know it. God of our weary years. Anyway, I'm not going to pain you for singing it. It's in here. So why is not, hello, focus. Why is not your black national anthem in this book? The white folks' book. It ain't in this one. White evangelicals. Black Pentecostals. Don't you live in America? Don't y'all live in America? James False in 1927. Don't y'all live here? Huh? Y'all live here too, right? I thought y'all did. Something's going on though in this land of the free, home of the brave, and where black folks go sit under white evangelicals. I got no problem with white evangelicals. At least 50 of my white friends are white in evangelicals. Okay? But something happened with the Rod to the Parsley down there in Old to the Ohio. And that way he is? He been preaching to black folks many years. Many years. Many to the years. And he squaw like us. He put his hand behind the ear, and he hoops. He got a black organist. My dearest friend, Wendell Lowe is his musician. Okay, he got a black band. Okay, black folks sprinkled all through that audience, and we give to him by the thousands. Yeah, Dina said that song is hard to sing. It is hard to sing. Yeah, I hate these type of preachers. Yeah, so we've been following for years, and when you turn on TBN, the church channel or one of them channels, you see him sprinkled. We sprinkle all amongst there. But when it comes to social issues, when it comes to things that are dealing with the people, many white evangelicals silent. Silent. Don't say nothing. Shh. Don't rile up the peoples. Don't do it. Okay? And they got you good because y'all was falling behind Paula to the whitish. Paula White. Y'all followed behind her even though she was in a shaky relationship. Just shaky. Her relationships ships with an S was shaky ground. And y'all gave her a second, third chance. Okay, fine. Thank you for giving me a second, third chance as well. But when y'all thought Paula to the White, she should change that last name because it really is it embodies who she really is. Okay, when y'all was following behind her, she went left on y'all. No, she actually went right on y'all. She went not just right, she turned far right. Y'all like, okay, thank you for taking me home, Sister Paula Whitish. Sister Paula White, but you passed my house back there. She says, yes, I know. I told you to make a left over here, and you didn't. You made it right, yes. And you didn't just make it right. You made a really close, far, direct. I mean, a strong right. Yes, I did. yes, I did. Because if you denied Donald Trump, you are an enemy of the state. Now you're in the back seat. Now she doing the driving. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right. So now she's in the White House. White is in the White House. Okay, and she's telling y'all, listen, this is the way it is. This is the way it's gonna be. And God gonna do this, and God gonna do that. If you don't do this, do that. Black folks, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all will follow a rooster into the chicken house. If you know that, I shouldn't say this because if I say it, black folks are going to write me some letters, okay? See, because sometimes I can be a little harsh, and sometimes I can be very, 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 I can be very, very, what's the word you use when you making jokes about a certain race of people, and you always making those jokes because it's applied to those particular people, like how white folks think we all like chicken. You understand? My brother hates chicken. My other brother hates watermelon. All black folk don't eat that stuff, all right? And some of the best chicken I've tasted was at the white restaurant up north. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And I lived in South Dakota, and whenever the white folks had backyard barbecues, they had watermelon everywhere. It's watermelon everywhere. Thank you, Jason Jordan. That's the word I use. Sometimes I'm stereotypical, okay, and sometimes I am. Yeah. Sometimes I got it. What you saying? Get this interview cracking. I know. Yeah. So there's a problem with how y'all follow people, and you never really vetted them. Well, I don't understand how this man could say what he said boldly. He did this, and the music was playing. And played consecrationally. And he says, you black folks. And he said, you Asians, you Hispanics. Then he paused and he says, is this mic on? And even you white folks. Okay, why couldn't he just say, and even you black folks? He said, you black folks, you Asians, you Hispanics. Then he said, is this mic on? And even you white folks. I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. And then after he said, and even you white folks, then he went in. Now, here's the thing. Never put black people in the same example or groups with other folks when you getting ready to say something derogatory or negative. You hear, is this thing on? Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, hear what I'm saying. If he had not said black folks, I would not have heard about Rod Parsley's video today. But because he said black folks amongst all the other folks, who did black people hear? 2 words came out in his diaphragm or whatever you call that thing. Okay, 2 words came out. He said, black people and bitter. He said black people and bitter. Okay, here's the problem with 2 of those is this. Never say bitter in front of a black woman. I'm sorry. My commercial was playing. We ain't ready for the commercial. Never say bitter in front of a black audience, because there's some black women in there, and fortunately, black men have been calling black women bitter for at least 400 years. She could have had just a bad day. You bitter. You bitter. All right. Now, out of the mouth of a white man, he said bitter, and I said, there's going to be a World War III in the Christian community. And sure enough, it was plastered all over the internet. Yes. And from the time he said bitter, you could not hear nothing else he had to say. You couldn't hear nothing else. Yeah, never say bitter. Don't say it. Don't say it ever. Brothers, if you like your life, if you enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, never in the history of not never ever say bitter in front of a black woman. All right? You understand what I'm saying? Get you a good lawyer afterwards. All right? Okay. So when he said that, I said, surely he was drinking. Because, Rod now looks like Moses. He grew all this before the shutdown. He didn't go to the barber shop. All right? And he didn't use that hair color for men. Okay, he didn't use none of that. He just let it all gray out. And the older he gets, the more he lets all this grow out. Now, he's telling you, I am the chosen one amongst blacks. Black people, don't be so bitter towards the founding fathers of our nation. I said, wait a minute. Do you even know who the founding fathers are and what they stood for? Huh? Do you really know who they were? Well, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all who the founding fathers were. Okay? If he was treated like a third of a human. Come on. Let me post that. Let me post that. Y'all see that? Right. Drug him into the cave like he was Saul. Yeah. He just popped up on my TV one day and he had all this on his face. And I'm like, he dirty. He riding dirty. He's riding dirty. And I'm like, why Parsley riding dirty? And then he started talking with like this with the music playing in the background in the midst not of a pandemic. We done with the pandemic. Y'all don't really care about the pandemic anymore. But in the midst of unrest and injustice, he did this and said, hey, black folks, y'all bitter. That's all y'all heard. That's all y'all heard. Okay, so I have a wonderful little pamphlet here. This is the Declaration of Independence. Okay, now, class is in session. This is the Declaration to the Independence. And in this Declaration of Independence are brief biographies of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. I got John Adams, Samuel Adams, who else is Bartlett, Braxton, Carroll, Samuel Chase, Abraham Clark, George Clymer, William Ellery, William Floyd, Benjamin Franklin, Eldridge Jerry, Button Gwinnett. Is that Gwinnett Paltrow's great-great-grandfather? Lyman Hall, John to the Hancock, Benjamin to the Harrison, John to the Hart. Y'all got time? Joseph Hughes, William Hoopers. He invented the basketball hoop. Okay, Stephen Hopkins. He write horror movies. Francis Hopkins. Okay, well that's Hopkinson. They may be kissing cousins. I'm not sure. Back then they were kind of nasty. Samuel Huntington. He carries a rifle. Thomas Jefferson. He's the one responsible for this separation of church to the state thing. We'll say something about him later. Francis Lightfoot Lee. His foot was light because he was, anyway. Richard Henry Lee, they got to be brothers. Francis Lewis, that's why some of you black folk are Lewis, because he owned slaves. Philip Livingston, he died one day. His name's still Livingston. Thomas Lynch Jr., I'm not even going to make a joke about Lynch. Okay, Thomas McKean. Okay, it's a whole bunch of these people here. All right. The forefathers, our four founding fathers, not four, it wasn't just four of them. Okay, yeah, the founding fathers of the United States of America, KKK America, were very unique men. Okay, and if we could just take a pause and find out who they are, then you understand that they were not Christians. They were not Jesus followers. The Constitution itself, the document itself, did not represent Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. It wasn't about that. It was about God, and God was some kind of entity, a higher power, who they respected. All right? There are many people who like Jesus, but they are not in love with him. Most religions, they like Jesus because of his work in the community. He liked to just heal people and feed people. His words on the injustice of a people. That's why they like him. Even Gandhi says, I like that Jesus. I just don't like his followers. He said, I would be a Christian if it wasn't for them Christians. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So these founding founders, they were running from the grips of the king of Great Britain because they instituted a state legislated church. You understand? So they ran from that church, and then they began to write this Declaration of Independence. And in this Declaration of Independence, up under it is the preamble. And that preamble states, unlike what the Bible states, the Bible says that we, the people, if my people who are called by my name, is what the Bible says. The Constitution says we the people, all right? A more perfect union from who? From this tyranny, establish justice, okay? Ensure domestic tranquility. Listen to these words. Provide for the common defense, promote general welfare. Republicans want to get rid of that. And secure the blessings of our liberty to ourselves, and guess who else? To our posterity, our children, all right? Do and ordain this Constitution. Do and ordain this Constitution of the United States. Now, so the question is, are we a republic or are we a democracy? But when you look in the saying, it says, of the republic to which we stand, one nation under God. All right, that was in the book there as well. Okay, so it's like the nation was divided, and you wonder, how could all men be created equal? And you sign the document, and then you go home to your slaves. You were raping our women, and you were killing our men, and you were breaking the backs of our children. And this is the country, the America that you live in. So when a white evangelical tell you you are bitter towards your founding fathers, remind him of the history of your fathers. As a matter of fact, let's go with some of them. Thomas Paine, I mentioned his name in this pamphlet. The man who inspired the American Revolution and the writing of the Declaration of Independence. All right, shows he was a revolutionary. He was anti-Christian because he had anti-Christian writings. It revealed much of what the other founders believed as well. What about Thomas Jefferson? He's the author, okay, of the Declaration of Independence, all right? The book of Revelation was, he says, the ravings of a maniac. He says, in the teaching of Jesus and the apostles were full of imposture and stupidity. This is documented, y'all. These are the words of Thomas Jefferson. After his private papers were published, he was called the reviler of Christ, the reviler of Christ by a leading clergyman. That was Thomas Jefferson. Benjamin to the Franklin, the boy, all we know in school, much of that history was hidden from us, okay? Because he put a kite in the air and put a key on there, and he's in electricity and all this stuff. We get all of the cute side of the stories, but the Benjamin Franklin, the only man to sign all of the original founding documents. Franklin was part of a radical occult group known as the Hellfire Club. It was in England, and it took part in satanic rituals, which may have included human sacrifices. And shortly before he died, he openly stated that he did not believe the gospel. Let's talk about John Adams, the second president of the United States. The evidence showed that Adams was no Christian at all, but rather exalted pagan beliefs about God, while abhorring the gospel, calling it an awful blasphemy. Let's talk about George to the Washington, shall we? Known as the father of our country. 3 of Washington's own pastors doubted the faith of George Washington in Christ. Proof is shown that he went to war not for Christianity, but for a universal system that would embrace all religions. So when compelled by the clergy to confess his faith in Christ, George Washington said, nah, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Well, if they were so against some or a lot of the Bible, then shove the founding birth of USA into the real haunted house. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to tell you, house. I'm trying to tell you, okay? So in walk many of the religions around the world came into America. There are many mainline churches here in America. The African Institution, the Anglican Church, the Assyrian Church, Baptist, Catholic, the Discipline of Christ, Episcopal, the Quakers, they call them. They used to call them the Quakers. Now they call the Friends, or they were called the Friends. Then they called the Quakers. I don't know. The Holiness churches, the Lutheran, the Mennonites, Moravians, the Old Catholic, Orthodox Church, Eastern, Orthodox, Oriental, Presbyterian, Reformed, Salvation Army. Yes, it's a church. Seventh-day Adventist, United and United Churches, United Methodist Churches, Free and Independent Churches, Pentecostal churches. The list goes on and on. There's 31,000 denominations around the country, if not around the world. And we all join forces, even though there's one Bible, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. And Paul said that we all supposed to be preaching and teaching the same thing. How could it be that you saying you are part of Sirwalterj? You said you were part of Deborah House? No, I'm with Dwight Manning. No, I'm with Marsha Johnson. No, I'm with Michelle Carter. No, I'm with Beatrice Carter. Okay, and I'm with, okay, he says that was they all crucified for Christ? None of them were. You understand what I'm saying? So these churches began to teach a outside world type of teaching. Okay, and some of these words pop up and you don't know what they are because you hear about them in politics, but you don't know some of your pastors are teaching this, and many of them are white evangelicals who have turned over to more of a they progressed over into more of a political standing, more so than Jesus Christ. White evangelicals as a whole, they are more political than religious. Just like you who are black Pentecostals, you are more pro-black than you are Jesus Christ. You will defend pro-blackness, blackness more so. You will defend Black Lives Matter more than you will defend the gospel of Jesus Christ. Yes, you will. Stop lying to me, because I saw some of your posts. I saw when every time y'all went out there in the street, I'm for peaceful marching. I would have joined the peaceful marching rather than joining some of these other groups by a certain name, okay? Because these certain names are infiltrated with other people who walk around with Molotov cocktails, and they're bombing and destroying what have you. And many of them are, y'all call them Antifas, all right? Who are they? Who's the Antifa leader? All right, where can I find them? All right, how did they come together? I don't know. So it's easy for whites or Republicans to say Antifa. That's a code word to say Antifa. They don't want to say our white brothers and sisters are out there bombing and running. They say Antifa. You understand? That's a code word. And then they'll say Antifa, Black Lives Matter. They put them together. They have depleted, all right? They have corrupted the name Black Lives Matter. It is the FBI is looking into it as a subversive group. They're looking into Black Lives Matter as they did the Black Panther Party. What they're trying to do is destroy the Black Lives Matter, and they're looking for the leadership. And that's how white folks get you. They go for your leaders. They try to kill your leaders. They try to destroy your leaders. All right. That's they go in to find where your money is. They try to destroy your economy, or they'll try to destroy your food source. That's why the Native Americans were dying off. They were dying off in two ways. Number one, they began to kill off all of the buffalo. The white folks were killing buffalo not because it was for sport. They were killing buffalo because they were trying to destroy and kill off the food source of the Native Americans. You understand? And number two, they were giving them all kind of diseases. And then the president who you elected began to shun shoo fly shoo, and get them out of their territories, and in walk the Trail of Tears. That's how they infiltrate you, okay? So economically, they make sure that they get to your source of survival, and that is food and economy. You understand? And then they go into medicine. That's how they get you. Black Wall Street, they destroyed it. Rosewood, they destroyed it. All right, why? Because that destroys the economy, your economy. All right, so secularization is a word. It's that epochal process by which people have gone from living in the world suffused with the sacred to living in the world in which sacred meanings have been largely drained away. Secularization. And when you go into church, you see a lot of teachings of this secularization, right? Anti-supranationalism is the type of multinational political union, all right? You got words like religious pluralism. Is an attitude or policy regarding the diversity of religious beliefs. So sometimes I use the phrase ecumenical services and interfaithful stuff. All that sounds cute and nice and all this stuff. Okay, it all sounds beautiful, but when you infiltrate, you get involved in all of these different types of race, sects, SECTS, sects. Okay, when you get involved in those things, it is the purity of black people is being diluted. It's just sprinkling water into all in that blood. Okay, and too much water in the Kool-Aid. So what happens is they went into your communities, and some of your leaders did as well, decided that we need to desegregate ourselves from ourselves and go out there and get what white folks had. All right. And when we did that, we busted up the mom and pop stores. We got rid of many of our black banks were dying. Many of our organizations were dying because black folks were like, I'm free. Okay, I'm free from the grips of our togetherness and our unity and our empowerment. I'm free. I want what the white man want. And that's what happened through segregation. Okay, and so then you got words like political correctness came in, and it did a work on you. Humanism came in, and it did a work on you. Humanism is used a lot, I see, in the church as well. Get rid of the sanctity, get rid of sanctification, get rid of holiness, and bring in humanism, because that makes me feel good. And then walked in the gospel of inclusion. All right, it's an old heresy of universalism is what it is, but it's universalism repackaged and given a new name. Universalism is the belief that all people will eventually be saved and go to heaven. The gospel of inclusion, as taught by our brother Carlton Pearson and others, encompasses this same belief. You understand? And then came postmodernism. And a lot of these words, a lot of these phrases are being snuck in our churches, and we are accepting them. Okay? And so we are joining forces with them, not realizing that you're weakening your own people. Are y'all still with me? You understand what I'm saying? Okay? And then you start seeing in a political world, I'm trying to teach y'all here, class is in session. You start seeing here certain words that you've been dismissing, but you should have been learning in political science class in high school. Communism, socialism, Nazism, fascism, princes, potentates, dictators, and kings, and things like that. These are words that you've been hearing about, but you haven't sat down and studied it. And because you are ignorant, those people who are above you, those are the 1%, all right? Those in those secret societies and Illuminatis and all these things, they know that you don't care about that stuff. You're just chasing after what you chasing after, the Air Jordans. You in your churches speaking in tongues and raising tithes and offerings, and I heard, okay? And then you go home Monday through Saturday, and you don't go to not one parent-child meeting. You don't pick up no paper in your community. You don't go to any town hall meetings. Rarely do you vote unless it's somebody so spectacular like a Barack Obama. All right, so you're not involved in politics. And so all of y'all out there marching right now, but you wasn't doing no marching, no rallying, no pleading, never. You don't know the number to the congressman. You hardly know who your alderman is. All right. You don't even know where his office is. You've never been in his office. All right. You understand? You don't even know who your precinct captain is. You don't know any of these things, and they know that you're ignorant. They know. And this is why gentrification came in there really easy. You opened the door and let them in there, and they waited till your house fell down. They waited till it fell down. All right. And then they came in and started buying up stuff because, they made you a deal that you couldn't refuse. And they started buying it up. And then before you know it, you're seeing this community that used to be just, it was just in shambles. Shambles? Is that the word? Okay. It's like this house now is worth maybe $50,000. $50,000. When my grandmama bought it, depending on the inflationary process, okay, percentage rate, today that house should be worth $250,000, but why is it only worth $50,000 today? And this house next door worth only $30,000, and this apartment complex here, it's a mess, okay? And then they come in and they buy up that stuff. They either tear it down or remodel it, and before you know it, that same apartment that you were renting for $600 a month, now you can't get in there unless you got $2,000, $3,000 a month, and a $400,000 house pop up right next door. Why? Why? Because you were asleep. The Bible says when the people were asleep, the enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. You're too busy fighting each other. You're too busy killing each other. You're not setting up businesses. You're not training your children to respect the community. You don't do it. All right, so you're calling your mom and dad by their first names. So what's happening? Then monarchy sets in, all right, around the country, around the world, that is. It's a form of government in which ruling powers is in the hands of one person. Monarchies, and that's how y'all set up your churches. You set up your churches like a dynasty or a monarchy. The pastor has the last say. He has the first say, and he has the last say. Monarchy. Your churches are the monarchy, Church of God, Pentecostal, in Christ, Apostolic, Full Baptist. All right. And then anarchy sets into the system as well. Pay close attention to the United States, because you will see things happening right now during this pandemic. What is anarchy? That means without government. In a state of anarchy, everybody must be armed. What's happening out there? The Greeks said that without law, there can be no freedom. The children of the corn, the Russian Lenin, or the brown shirts of Germany, who was led by Hitler, that was a form of anarchy. And then aristocracy, that's the form of government advocated. It came from Plato's Republican. Okay, this regime is ruled by a philosopher king, and thus is grounded on wisdom and reason. We belong to an aristocracy. Our four founding fathers wanted that kind of setup. Aristocracy. They were philosophizing. Okay, and then came the word oligarchy. You start seeing pop up. What is oligarchy? It's a form of government in which ruling powers is in the hands of a few leaders. The most common form of government is oligarchy, and believe it or not, the United States is, guess what? Most of the nations of the world are ruled by the power of a few. A new study joined and conducted by Princeton and Northwestern University say that America is no longer a democratic republic. You see, they said we are a republic. No, we're not. They said we are a democracy. No, we're not. They said we are a democratic republic. No, we're not. No, we're not. We are an oligarchy. The United States government now represents the rich and powerful, not the average citizen. You understand? Okay. Special interest groups are the wealthy who run America. Your congressman, you pick up the phone, call him, and he say, okay, I got you, bro. I got you, boo. I got you, girl. I got you. I come from your neighborhood. I understand. I got you. I got you. We're gonna write this bill up for you, for your community. Just fill out that census form, and we got you. And when he hang up the phone, that special interest person is standing there right next to him saying, no, you ain't. No, you ain't got him. No, I got you. I got you. All right? The researchers then concluded that the United States policies are formed more by special interest groups than by politicians properly representing the will of the general people, including the lower income class. So when a majority of citizens disagree with economic elites and or with organized interest groups, they generally lose. You will lose. So let's talk about democracy. What is democracy then? The rule of the people. That means the majority rule. Democracy. Do you think the United States is a democracy where the majority rules? Donald Trump ran for president. Hillary Clinton ran for president. And the majority decided that Hillary Clinton would be the president. Guess what happened? She had the most votes. The popular vote. Guess what happened? She lost. Do you think this is a democracy? And that's why there's so much abuse going on in the church. Dictatorship. Come on, I'm trying to tell you. All right. Democracy. Demos means people, and crotein means to rule. That means the people to rule. The flaw in democracy is that the majority can't be restrained. And if more than half can be persuaded, then they rule. You understand? So in democracy, the lower class grows bigger and bigger becomes the winners. So diversity then becomes supreme. But people are free to do what they want and live how they want. People can break the law if they choose. You see what I'm saying? Does that sound like us? This appears to be very similar to anarchy. The word democracy does not appear in the Declaration of Independence nor in the Constitution. So how can we be a democracy? The founders did everything they could to keep us from democracy. So who rules? Basically, the mob rules. Then anarchy sets in. And then these other ones that I'm getting ready to say, then it sets up. The reason why we are an oligarchy is because the mob ruled. Then our anarchy happened, and then the next word is tyranny. What is tyranny? Tyranny is a form of government in which ruling powers is in the hands of a person who has seized control. Seized control. Democracy then degenerates into tyranny, where no one has discipline and society exists in chaos. Does that sound like us today? Democracy is taken over by the longing for freedom. Power must be sieged to maintain order. I am the law and order president. A champion will come along and experience power, which will cause him to become a tyrant. And then the people will start to hate him and eventually try and remove him, but will realize that they are not able to remove him. That is tyranny. So, mob rule. then anarchy comes, and then tyranny comes, and then we're in a state of oligarchy. I'm trying to tell you, that's what's happening here. Now, so y'all say we're a republic. Republic is Latin. Res, R-E-S, that's thing. And then publica, that means public. A public thing. Republic. All right? The law. That's what it means. The government is limited by law, which leaves the people alone. So you're saying we're guided by the laws. Where we used to, the Constitution, we used to, by the amendments, we used to be guided by the law. But if we're in an oligarchy where the few people are ruling, then they put in certain people to change the what? Why do you think they were trying to keep this man in office, put him in office, so because of his talk about putting in judges in the Supreme Court? Because what is the job of the Supreme Court? I don't think y'all getting this. You see, Congress does one thing. They legislate, but the Supreme Court, if they got a buddy in the Congress, then what does the Supreme Court do to the law? What is the law of the Supreme Court? Can somebody tell me? Oh, my God, today. The Romans built a republic. Rome became wealthy, but the people forgot that the essence of freedom is the proper limitations of government. The Republican Party don't like big government. At the beginning, the were correct. They're the ones who abolished the slavery. Okay, they were against big government. But what happened over time? When government gets bigger, the freedom of the people recedes. And once the government creates subsidies and aid to the people begin to rely on the government or for more. Stimulus checks, bailouts, you understand? And all of these public social programs, all right? You depend so much on the government till then you have a sense of entitlement, and now you can't think for yourself. You can't pull yourself up by your own bootstrap because my check didn't come. Understand? So therefore, the people traded freedom for security. So Rome, like Rome fell because they went from a republic to a democracy and ended up in an oligarchy under the progression of Caesar. That's what's happening. That's why we are the new Roman Empire. I don't think y'all getting none of this. Yeah, thank you. Logan says interpret. She's talking about the Supreme Court. Who else is that? Marshall says interpret. Yes. Okay, all right. So, and to the republic for which we stand. All right. So what happened? Then y'all begin to join churches, and you join churches not understanding the history behind these churches, and you join what's called polities. All right. There's an ecclesiastical polity. It's the operation of a governance structure of a church. It also denotes the ministerial structure of the church. Okay, the ecclesial polity. Then the episcopal polity, which many of you are set up under. The Church of God in Christ is up under Episcopal polity, the Apostolic Church, and many of the other denominations are turning over to Episcopal because pretty much the bishops rule. It's governed by bishops. All right, the title bishop comes from the Greek word episkopos, which translates as overseer, and that's why the Bible says in Timothy, you who desire the office of a bishop desire a good thing. It is not the hierarchy position that we have today. That was more of a supervisory role, but we changed it. We changed the Bible, we sprinkled in some eisegeting to make it the bishops that we have today. And y'all weren't satisfied with bishops. Then you turned over to apostles. Now everybody's an apostle. And then now we go to that one lady, that one woman for the headship. He's the chief apostle, and nothing can be done without us going to him. Yes, the AME church. They like them robes and caps. Yeah. Okay. Episcopal polity is the predominant pattern in Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, Oriental Orthodox, Anglican Church, Methodist, Lutheran Church, Pentecostal Church, Full Gospel, all of that, y'all. Now, what system did God want? God wanted a system of theocracy. Somebody spell it out for me in the comments. God wanted theocracy. We turned our faces on him, and we didn't just do it. Well, the Jews did it in the Old Testament. They wanted a king, and God says, I am your king. In the Bible, we see Nah, man, where's my Bible? Okay. In the Bible, we see the books of Moses, the 5 first books of Moses, okay? Y'all know them all, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, okay? We know all of those, okay? Numbers, of course. What happened after the first 5 books of Moses? Moses died, my servant Moses is dead, and then who popped on the scene? Joshua. Come on, Tammy Briggs, ruled by God. Theocracy, all right? It's a form of government that is led by God or by, here it is, or by a person or person who claim to rule by divine authority. Yes, there's 2 definitions. Theocracy. Understand? Okay? So that's, y'all know, that's Theo, that's Greek for God, and cracy, okay, that means strength and government. Theocracy. God wanted to rule. Him, just him, to rule. And the people says no. Joshua came on the scene. Yeah, Joshua Reese came on the scene. Joshua Reese, he came on the scene, okay? And then Joshua began to rule. All right, y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? Yeah, a whole bunch of y'all with me. I'm sorry. I was ignoring all y'all. It's a whole bunch of y'all here. Good Lord. My bad. Okay. Joshua began to rule. Now watch what happens. Joshua rules, and then his time is up. Tammy. Tammy. Come on, Tammy. Tammy is preaching this with me. What did he do? He set in judges. Notice he did not set in kings. He didn't set them in. He set in judges, not kings. And those judges were ruled by God through a theocracy. By God. Not thieves. Not thieves-ocracy. Come on. Joshua, shut up and cheat. Come on, man. This is the most endearing show you will ever, maybe not ever, but that you'll hear on a Sunday. I'm trying to go deep on Sunday nights, all right? Because the gospel is all up in me today. Judges. And then she said it. Deborah and Gideon and Samson, all right? They were not perfect, but God put them in there to judge. Why do you think? I told y'all last year. Godly counseling, Margaret says. I told y'all last year that God is getting ready to set up judges in America. I told y'all this 1 year ago. I said he's getting ready to remove these y'all may call generals. These pastors who started the church 60, 70 years ago. I told y'all this in February, you remember? And I said God is getting ready to remove them. They begin to die left and right all last year, and then this pandemic came and it was wiping them folks out. All right, I said, and watch what's happening in politics, because these political parties are trying to put in judges, because God is taking America back to judges. Didn't I say that, Pitts? I know I did. Okay, all right. So now, what was the job of these judges? All right, so after judges, then we start seeing that the people were turning against the judges, and they says, these other nations have kings, and we want to be like the other nations. And they leaving out of here too. Come on, Walt Clark, they getting out of here. We want to be like the other nations, and God says, I have set up a theocracy. How dare you spit in my face? No, we want a king. He said, no problem. I'm going to give you a king. I'll choose him, no problem. But here's what that king is going to do to you. And did not Saul do all these things that he says? Yes. Did not history repeat itself in America as it pertains to King Saul? Sure did. Because I know white evangelicals love to say that Donald Trump is King Cyrus. They love to bring it because they over-romanticize. They try to find something to fill in the hole. You see, you got to understand, white evangelicals are for something. All right. Can y'all put in the list there conservatism? What do they believe in, especially white evangelicals? What is a list? There's about 3 things that they really care about. It wasn't like that in the beginning. They were forced into caring about those things, because if you put in abortion, that was not their initial fight. They could care less about abortion. White evangelicals could care less about abortion. They were coerced into the fight of abortion. One man did that. One man brought him into that fight. You understand what I'm saying? And then when they were convinced on that, then they began to find other things that they didn't like, and they brought it into, they were coerced by the political arena. Understand? They were coerced by the political arena, and especially Ronald Reagan. He says, oh, let me say this code word to you. Let me say this one phrase to you, because I know how you work. I know how you operate. I know what gets you. I'm the Pied to the Piper, and I know if I say this thing to you, I got you. Barack Obama was at that funeral in South Carolina, where was the 9 people were shot in that church, and at the funeral he started singing "Amaze." What happened in that room? Can y'all tell me? Can y'all tell me what happened in that room? Ronald Reagan was invited to a white evangelical meeting, and he says, I know you can't endorse me, but I endorse you. And he used some Christian words, and they said, that's our man. It didn't matter about his life. That's exactly why Donald Trump is in office. He had certain code words. They don't like socialism. L says, yep, they hate socialism. Come on. They hate it. What are you saying here? Yep. Peabody, they all sang. They all stood up. They were like, ooh, the president is singing "Oh Amazing Grace." They got excited. That's how gullible Christians are. Just say a word or two, and here it is. You got us captivated. You got me, baby. You had me at hello. Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all. So they brought him in. Once they brought the white evangelicals into the political arena, then they brought in their thoughts and their social this and that. Even though when Jim Crow was going on, you was not allowed to join their universities. They were building universities. You were not allowed in there. If you looked on TV in the 1970s and saw white evangelicals on TV, you saw 1 or 2 black people in that whole audience. That whole audience, you saw 1 or 2. Okay? It was a lily. There's a lily in the church. Okay? White as a... Okay. All right? That's what's happening. Judges. Okay. So, here's the thing to you white evangelicals. Thank you, Clock Keeper. I might go a little overtime today. If you really cared about your brother and sister, I'm talking to the white evangelicals. I'm talking about the white evangelicals right now. So tag a white evangelical, because I'm getting ready to talk to them right now. And Rod to the Parsley. If you really cared about your brother and sister, how could so many Confederate memorials remain in America? Can y'all tell me that? Huh? How could you live in America and talk about how much you love everybody, and in the halls of Congress and in military bases there are Confederate statues and symbols? Can y'all tell me? Huh? How could you possibly be preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, who believed in social justice? Jesus Christ believed in social justice. Okay? And you started setting up, I'm talking about after the signing of the Civil Rights Bill, you would thought that them statues were going to come down, but no. They were going up like crazy. The Southern Poverty Law Center found 1,503 memorials. 718 are statues and monuments. 10 U.S. military bases are named after Confederate officers. Military bases. Do you realize that they killed U.S. soldiers? They killed them, wiped them out, and then you wanted to honor them by changing the military base after a Confederate commander. Isn't that something? The Confederate Constitution. Here's what the Confederate Constitution. It contains a clause enshrining slavery forever. The Confederate clause. So white Southerners will say, that's my history. That's my legacy. That's my heritage. The clause in the Confederacy says slavery forever. It says no bill or law denying or impairing the right of property in Negro slaves shall be passed. So you're saying these monuments went up a long time ago in American history. Long time ago in American history, my grandfather put that up, and we're against that. We're against that. Well, watch this. The largest Confederate memorial is the carving of 3 Confederate leaders on horseback at Stone Mountain. Y'all know where Stone Mountain is? And that's where the 20th century KKK was born. Stone Mountain. Y'all understand that? So you're saying that was a long, long time ago. Guess when Stone Mountain was finished? It was completed in 1972. Long, long time ago, huh? I was still alive when they put them KKKs in the mountain. Now watch this. Guess who dedicated the opening of that mountain? Not some KKK, not some Aryan, not some wild white supremacist group. Okay, no. It was dedicated by the Vice President of the United States, Spiro Agnew. Commemorated. He says the loyalty. That's what he said in his words. He says these men were loyal and they were traitors. That's what we're dealing with, y'all. And that was in 1972. You understand what I'm saying? I just don't understand. So white evangelicals said, we love you, brother, with the love of Jesus, until they go behind their voting booths. These evangelical preachers are also Freemasons and Shriners. Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, that's who we have today. So, to recap. Matter of fact, today's Sunday school lesson talks about wisdom. Guess what the lesson said today? It talked about the benefit of wisdom. Yes, Vansha, there it is. Let me put you on the Jumbotron. Yeah, I'll put you on the Jumbotron. Okay? Then he went to jail for tax evasion, Walker Clark. He sure did. Richard Nixon had so many vices. Exposed them all. Yes. Now watch this. The benefits of wisdom. Here's what it says, and then I'm going to shut it down. All right? I'm going to shut it down. It says, my child, listen to what I say. He says, treasure my commands. Tune your ears to wisdom. Concentrate on understanding. He said, cry out for insight. Ask for understanding. He said, search for them as you would for silver, like you would hidden treasures. He says, when you do all these things, then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord, and you will gain knowledge of God. Now, I put a post up today, and I says, are y'all burning down Wendy's again? Now, when I said y'all burning down Wendy's, right away, many of y'all went on Facebook and said, it ain't us burning down Wendy's. Okay, I didn't say black folks were burning down Wendy's. I said y'all burning down Wendy's. All right, I got a lot of white folks that's my Facebook friends. I said y'all burning down Wendy's in Atlanta, and right away y'all went to the defense and y'all started showing me the video of this white woman getting ready to set Wendy's on fire. And I said, Now, let me then keep what I said. Let me keep the fact that you saying that I saying that black folks did this, okay, which I didn't. But let's say I did. A brother was filming this white woman setting Wendy's on fire. She took her time and she was putting her little fire in there, and he filmed it. He said, see, look y'all, look, white woman, white woman doing it. It ain't us. And y'all sat back in your community and let it burn. See, they doing it. You didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. That's the Wendy's that you eat at. So then your defense was that I don't eat at Wendy's. We don't own Wendy's. That white folks stuff, let them burn their own stuff down. You know what you're doing here, right? So it's about my people. You so pro-black till it doesn't matter about them burning down their own Wendy's, knowing that if you walk in that Wendy's, you're going to see black faces behind the counter. Your daughters, your sisters, okay, your brothers work at that Wendy's. So you said, I don't own it. Burn it down. You go home to your son living in your basement. He's like, you need to get a job. You need to get a job. I'm tired of you sleeping around here. You fill out a resume or do something, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, let's burn down the Wendy's across the street. Y'all some hypocrites. They probably would have gotten shot by the police for trying to stop her. Okay? No attempt to stop her, nothing. Just film it. See? Hey, I'm telling on us. See? Then meanwhile, y'all like, yeah, Wendy's on fire. You are an accessory to that crime. Trying to tell y'all, miss me with that banter. So I said on the wall, y'all go on my wall. I don't know if I want to go there. I don't know, because I might pee off some folks. I think I might go there, y'all. I don't know why. I'm getting ready to open up my Facebook, y'all. I'm gonna have to go to my Facebook because some of y'all don't believe me on YouTube. Y'all don't believe what I'm saying. They went off because I said y'all are burning up. Y'all are burning it up. Y'all are burning it up. Okay, and y'all ain't stopping it. And then they got mad at me. Y'all got mad at me. Okay, let me move some stuff out the way so I can get to it. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all. All right, let me do this. Okay, where is it? Let me find it. Hold on. Okay, here's my screen. Where is it? It's coming right here. So the mayor of Atlanta acted swiftly by firing police chief. Okay. So when I said that, y'all were saying she wasn't fired, she resigned, and they're gonna let her work in the police force, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, listen, Linda, listen. Listen. I live in a major city. I know how this works. Now, I'm not saying that you are incorrect. Understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, accepting someone's resignation is a cold word. Can y'all tell me what the code word is? Okay. Can y'all tell me what the code word is? I'm telling you how it works. It's amazing how people get mad at the truth. They get mad at the truth, Vansha. Okay, so then you started seeing these comments. I'm doing this for you, you YouTubers. You YouTubers. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Okay, and we started fighting over the truth, and these folks was going off on me. And they started sharing the same stuff. See, look at that woman. Look at that white woman. That white woman burned the place down. And you sat there and watched it. Yes, you did. I mean, it's crazy. Here's another one. There it is. You see how it kept popping up? And I kept saying, can y'all read the comments above? You don't have to keep putting it on the wall. Y'all too lazy to read. Read the comments. Here's another one. Here's another one. Because folk are too lazy to read. Y'all too lazy to read. Look at this. Okay? Man, I just can't. Here's another one. Here's another one. Folk are too lazy to read. You refuse to read. Reading is fundamental, my dear Watson. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Veronica. I said, what's the code word? Resign or be fired. Frank says, cover up. Yeah, fired with dignity. Turkish child. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paul Dawson, what are you asking? He's asking the question. Can y'all answer it for him? Because I'm not sure what he's saying. No one here wants to say if they are Afro-American. I mean, you're changing the subject, Paul Dawson. Stay on subject. Stay on stay on subject. Spiro Agnew was an American born and half Greek, but how did Henry Kissinger get in office to serve two presidents, and he was born, partially raised in Germany? Michelle Carter, can y'all answer that for her? Yeah. Alvin said, Alvin Carter said, not too lazy, they can't read. Yeah. Walt Clark says they're allowed to resign to save face, but they fired sure enough. I'm trying to tell y'all, cold to the word. Y'all can disagree with me all you want to, but I don't care. Moore said he tripping. Yeah. Most of our past presidents and founding fathers, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, my relatives, and many others were Freemasons. So what about the Freemasons? Mickens said, we got a Mason here. Alvin Carter is a Mason. Ain't no secret. Y'all say it's a secret society. Ain't no secret. Alvin C. Carter is a Mason. Hey, Alvin, can you talk to Mickens about that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you saying here? African American? Huh? Yes. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. This is all exploding in my face. Mm-hmm. Sierra says, but the question is why? All right. What the question to what? Okay. So y'all get upset. So my point is, you let them loot and destroy even though it's white folks' property. My daughter works there, for Pete's sake. And that store being there is doing something good for your community. It is bringing in is boosting up the economy in your neighborhood. Alvin said, what do you want to know about the Freemasons? Alvin want to know what you want to know about the Freemasons. Here's one right here. What do you want to know? Okay? And so you justify that by saying, now here's what your answers were. Here's what your answers are. You're saying, what else are they going to do? There's nothing else for them to do. They're tired. They're fed up. So, they got nowhere else to do but to loot and burn and commit crimes. That's coming from you pastors. I just can't believe I have no hair to pull out of my head. It's like you justifying they got nowhere else to go. Really? How do you think we got the Civil Rights Bill signed? Was it by looting? Huh? But Walt, look what we've been blamed for. We was trying to get it off. I know. I get it. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we pass the blame and then we deflect. All right? And I said, this is a sin problem. That's all this is. This is a sin problem. And the church is refusing to teach against sin because we want to join forces with these people. That's why I'm not marching for Black Lives Matter. I don't do that. I don't know who those people are. I don't know who those people are. Some of y'all never really probably vetted. I'm not so much talking about the founder. I'm not so much talking about the founder. I'm talking about what it has become. I'm not marching with everybody because they for this social, that. God told me to separate myself from a lot of that stuff and find another way to fight this injustice. Not the lazy way of just staying home and praying. That's all you're doing. And if you think that that's what I'm all about, shut up. Delete me, block me. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm making a change with my dollars and my education. All right? And I go out there and I adopt one child at a time. Y'all know how many children I have adopted? And because of my adoption policies, they don't go to jail. They're not strung out on drugs. They're not on the street corner. All right? You understand what I'm saying? Because of I'm saving one child at a time. Now you may go out there and march with them. That's the way you fight injustice. I fight it by your daughter calls me. Your daughter can't talk to you because you too hardcore. You too stuck in church. You always at church, Pastor. Your son and your daughter talk to me. Sometimes they call me Papa Sir. Papa Sir, my dad, he won't talk to me. I ask him a question. He don't this, he don't that, and then he ain't never home. My mama's always up there. She's the mother on the mother, blah 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 blah. So I'm trying to help raise your kid because you ain't got no dealings with him. That's how I'm helping in the justice. I don't agree with the looting, but that was not a black person on the community who burned. Sierra, are you hearing anything I had to say? Huh? Excuses ain't nothing but a dressed up lie. Yeah, those wearing a collar and justify stealing and destruction is just as sinful as those actively participating. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is crazy. Crazy. Wendy's down here pays $11 an hour. That's more than minimum wage. See what I'm saying? All right, Wendy's is paying. Now these people got no job. No job. And you sat there and watched them burn it with a camera. Drop the freaking phone and throw a rock at her head. It makes no sense. Throw a rock at her head. So what? Go to jail. Throw a rock on her head and save all those jobs in there. It's crazy. The internet is a wilderness and needs to be educated. This is what God wants you to do. Teach. Come on, son. Let me tell you, Josh Reese, this is my platform and this is how I'm helping in the community. This is how I'm doing it. And many people tell me, they call, they text, they inbox me, they send me homing pigeons, okay, and smoke signals, and they say, Elder Jones, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My son is listening to your show while I'm listening to it, and he's asking me the hard questions. My daughter is in the other room, and I got you on, and she's listening to you, and she's saying, I never thought about that. Those are the messages I get. Those are the messages I get, and I say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, that the word is getting out there. All right? Throw a rock at that white woman. Hit her in the head. Hit her in the head. Take care, African Americans. Maybe we can chat another time. Blessings to you, Paul Dawson. Take care of yourself. And I appreciate you coming on. Who are you saying here? What are you saying here? Joshua, I'm one of them. So last, here's what the Bible says. I'm going to close it down. I promise you. Clock keeper. Let me close this down. It says, for wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. Wise choices will watch over you. Understanding will keep you safe. That's what I'm doing. I'm using wisdom. It's in my heart. I ain't marching with you folks. I'm telling y'all, start a business. Y'all like, I can't start a business because they won't give us black folks a bank loan. Really? Really? Is that your excuse? That they won't give you a bank loan? Huh? He say, who go? Walt Clark. So you want to go to a white bank to get a loan, and they deny you, so you sit at home and say, I can't start a business, they won't give me a loan. But we had a few black banks in Chicago, and you wouldn't bank there. Walt Clark, am I correct? We had a few black banks in Chicago, and your money wasn't in it. And these black banks were giving loans to their black customers. They were taking risks on the black community. We got Bronzeville here in Chicago, bustling and rich with culture. And there's only one black bank left. I'm trying to tell y'all, Walt Clark is absolutely correct. And you would not shop at the mom and pop store. You wouldn't do it. You pass by the mom and pop store to go down into Walmart because they slashed the price. So you're saving $2. But you spent $5 in gas passing by the black store to save $2 after spending $5 in gas going all the way over there. And then waiting in a long line. Understand? That's your mentality. So then you go to the white bank for a loan and he turn you down and you say, I can't get a loan, so I can't start a business. You are crazy. You crazy. The black bank won't even give a loan. They black. Be quiet, Sierra. Maybe they didn't know about those black banks. Sharon Ware? No. There was a there was a thing that happened a few years in Chicago. Bank black, bank black, bank black. That went on for years here in Chicago. Bank black. And Seaway National Bank had more depositors than they had ever had in the history of that bank. And guess what? Most of those were black people banking at that bank. Don't tell me they didn't know. They did know. It was on WGCI. It was on V103. It was 1390 AM. Okay, B92. All these stations, they kept saying bank black, and people were putting their monies in there, and many of the people ignored it. They ignored it. No excuse. Rioting and looting regarding to why it is being done is criminal activity. My father used to say, 2 wrongs will make it right. Come on, Bird Dorch. I miss you, girl. I miss you. All right? So, Sharon Ware, this is your first time hearing about it, so I can respect that. But that thing was on black radio for years. For years. Black people, our black churches were at, those black churches were at Seaway. The black people were at Seaway Bank. I'm trying to tell you, it was in our community. There's one up the street. I could take a rock right now and throw a rock at Seaway Bank and knock the windows out. Unfortunately, a couple years ago, we lost it. They could not survive. They couldn't survive. Yeah, Sharon says, I don't listen to none of them stations. I'm trying to tell you, they couldn't survive. We got one black bank left. So you want to start a business? I have a business. Okay, look at this. You see that? That's a business. That book right there, that's a business. Guess how I was able to start that business? I didn't go to no bank for no loan. You know how much it costs to write a book? Nothing. Y'all got excuses up the wazoozy. Black churches on the west side used the bank at the community. My father banked at Community Bank on Lawndale. You understand? Seaway was forced out of the game. Alvin, yes. You know why they was forced out of the game? Because we didn't stand up for them. We didn't stand up for them. Yes. It doesn't cost. You don't have to go to the bank to get a loan to write a book. I wrote a book and put it on Amazon. Now, here's the thing. Before I wrote the book, guess who I went to for investments in the book? I went to y'all. I went to my Black Wall Street. Clock keeper, give me a couple more minutes. I went to Black Wall Street so that I can afford at least, there's some couple things that I needed for the book. The cover, the cover costs. You at least got to pay for an editor. You understand what I'm saying? Many people edit them right now. It doesn't cost nothing to write a book, because there's people who are good in editing. They're good at making covers, because you can go online for free and download these softwares, whatever. You can do all that for free and upload it on Amazon for free. Amazon don't charge you for uploading it on Amazon, and then you set your price, and that's it. You paid nothing to write the book. So I went to my YouTube family, I went to my Facebook family, Black Wall Street, and they poured money into the cause. Through what? That thing right there. You see that thing right there? Right there. They poured money into the cause, and they kept doing that month after month. And guess what I was doing? I was putting that money away so that all the expenses that I need for that book can be finished. I didn't go to no white bank for loans. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't do it. And then what else did I do? I went on YouTube and started doing my shows. And then after I got to about 1,000 subscribers, I began to monetize my shows. Guess who else pays me now? Now I got 2 streams. Did I go to a bank for a loan? No, never had to. You understand what I'm saying? Asking you shall receive. Where it says it. All right. Then what did I start doing? I started filming my coaching classes. I didn't need no bank for that. I already got a computer. I already got software. And I speak in a mic. I speak in the can. For those of you who don't understand that movie, there's a guy over there paying $10 to speak in the can, to sing in the can. I sang in the can, okay? And I began to teach my lessons on here, and the people paid me for it. Did I go to the bank for a loan? Alvin said, you just made pimping easy. Did I? So you people were telling me I can't start a business because they deny me of a loan. You lazy and you don't want to know. You don't want to know. YouTube is free. And the stuff that y'all paying for, you can go on YouTube and get it for free. It's sad. Those are pits. We must learn to invest in each other. That has always been the issue. Black continually jump over each other. Yes. Who's it? Denominational. Good to see you, son. My New York friend. Yeah. Logan know the movie. They paying you $10 to sing in the can. That's my favorite movie of all times, outside of what's that movie? The jail movie. What's that jail movie? What's the movie? With Morgan Freeman. What is it? Anyway, that's the #1 movie of all time. And then Singing in the Can. Yeah. Brother, Where Art Thou? That's the movie. Brother, Where Art Thou? That's my second favorite. Okay. What are you saying? You all be careful of someone trying to start a whole different subject in the comment section to distract you from the wisdom. Ooh, I love you. I love you. I love you. Do you interview the women for content for the book? Where did your relationship info come from? What was your inspiration? Margaret Johnson. Yes, I interviewed them. You know how I interviewed them? I married them. Yeah, I married them. I've been married twice. Their story is in my book. And I have sisters, and I have a mother and aunties. That's where my information comes from. But you see, the book is not about women. Look at the title. What does it say there? Men's Chronicles. A woman's guide to who? So usually when a woman see the title, they read past that. It's not about women. It's about men. Shawshank Redemption. There it is. #1 movie of all time. There is no movie greater. There is no movie greater. And then Old Brother, Where Art Thou? #2. Put that on your list and say Sirwalterj Jones sent you. Here's what the text say. Is this. It says, wisdom will save you from evil people, from those whose words are twisted. It says, these men turn from the right way to walk down dark paths. Wisdom would tell you stop marching with people you don't know. That because they got a name on their shirt, you being pulled that way, and many of them are evil. And he says their words are twisted. They use these certain words to get you out there on the street. These men will turn you from the right way, walk down dark paths. They take pleasure in doing wrong, and they enjoy the twisted ways of evil. Their actions are crooked, and their ways are wrong. Wisdom will save you. That's what he's saying here. Will save you. Stop marching with everybody. You ain't gonna find me out there. I'm building up my own Wall Street. One Negro at a time. Yeah. I want royalties. All right. I concur. However, if I invest in myself, the chances are higher that I can afford to invest in you. Ooh, yes, that's good. Additionally, yeah, it's good. Pitts, that's good. I've seen them several times, and I'm trying to get my own copy. That's good. I need information about getting my book out. Help since you are black. Hey, Shirley Caswell, I got you. I'm telling you, I got you. Just hit me up in the inbox. Lead you to the right direction where to go. Again, you don't need no loan. Black folks, stop milking and trying to listen to all that banter from other poor people. How you listen to other poor black folks tell you what you can't do? You are an eagle, and you trying to fly with buzzards, and they giving you all these stock tips and tips on finance, stuff like that, and they broke and poor. Who does that? Makes no sense. Hey, Paul Dawson, I thought you was gone. You came back? I say often that we must start giving our black dollar to black-owned businesses. We have to unite and fight back the right way. Riding and looting. Come on, Bird. I'm trying to tell you, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Kind of hard to be a racist, huh? Seeing color is delusional, and racist is... what? Boy, y'all something else. Y'all something else. See how you just turned me down? What? Who turned you down? Where? Who turned you down? Wisdom is being replaced by emotional teaching. Wisdom holds you accountable and will keep you safe. Come on, come on. Buy black, y'all. Which brings me to the commercial of the day. And these people are not paying me for this. I'm airing commercials. I'm making their own commercial, my own commercial for them, because this is how I'm helping y'all help us, the black community. You want Black Wall Street? Well, offer your services. Some things you can actually do for free, like right here. Hello, everybody. This is Sirwalterj Jones. I have an establishment that I like to expose to you all some good home cooking from down south. It's called Creed on Lake on the greater west side of Chicago. Here is the menu. It might seem simple, but it yet delicious. The proprietors, Erwin P. McKinney and Tina M. Cook. I think I have some footage of the establishment. That last plate was mine. It didn't make it. Didn't make it, y'all. It's in my belly. Hey, if you're ever in the Chicagoland area, support all of the black businesses. This week is Creed on Lake. Go over there. There's the phone number. There's the name. Tell them Sirwalterj Jones Show sent you. You'd be glad you did. Tell them Sirwalterj Jones sent you. You'd be glad you did. People said there ain't no palm trees in Chicago. Lord have mercy. Come on, y'all. Creed on Lake, you been there, Peabody? It's some good eating. All right. Every week, a restaurant 1 week. So next week, starting tomorrow, I got to go to another restaurant, black owned, and find out what I'm going to eat. Let's find these black owned restaurants, y'all. With my download list, let's see if I can find there's a list of black owned restaurants that I have on my list here. Let me show it to you right quick like. Because my clock keeper is peed off at me. My clock keeper is so upset at me right now. Oh my God. Okay, let me stretch this out. I want y'all to see these black-owned businesses here, right quick. Okay, cause she is so upset right now. Right here they are. Okay, I think I've eaten at several of these, but I'm gonna try next week. I'm gonna try something. Yassa African restaurant is some of the best fish. I had never had fish like that before. They give you the whole head and everything. That was some of the greatest African food I have had. All right. So let's see who we're going to try next week. Black owned restaurants. Now that's in Chicago, y'all. And your town, go ahead and visit them and support them. Will you please? I appreciate it. Good to see you, Elder. Bobby Miller, blessing to you. I have a business. I will send you my info so you can promote us. Yeah, I'm always promoting y'all. Do like we do at funeral repast. Who cooked the macaroni and the cheese? Woo! Nephew Steak and Hoagies, 36 Broadway, Gary, Indiana. All right, I got to get over there. Josh, pick me up. Let's go over there and eat, man, so I can do a commercial. Okay, y'all. I gotta go. I think I've done enough damage. The screen, yeah. You screenshot them, okay? So when I get back to Chicago, I'll be yes. Thank you. Thank you. Come here and eat good black, and if you good black, okay. And in your town, I'm sure there's some black restaurants somewhere. I'm hoping somewhere. Who made the potato salad? Peabody, shut up. Beggar's Pizza black owned. Gary, are they? Where? Okay. I didn't know they were black owned in Gary. Yeah. Check them out, Walt Clark. Good eating. And they got a couple locations. All right. I got to go. I love y'all. And ain't nothing you can do about it. If you're on YouTube, it's about 200 of y'all left. Go ahead and use wisdom and smash the like button right now. Smash it. Bam. Make sure it turn blue. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button and get my numbers up there. Subscribe so that we can get this message out. You on Facebook, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the share button. It's about half of y'all on there. If you share right now, the gospel will be preached all over the world. And let's pray for the members of Rod Parsley. Will you please pray for him and his mind and his thinking. But why are you so surprised, black folk? Don't be surprised when your white evangelical pastor turned on you. He didn't turn on you. He's always had this he never brought it up. But this is how he's always been this way. Ain't nothing new. Now you're shocked. How could you be shocked during this pandemic? Nothing should shock you. All right, I didn't sing your song today. I saw your pictures of your boo. Congratulations, girl. Y'all a handsome couple. Handsome, pretty couple. How you say it with the two people who I don't even know what you say. All right, love y'all. You know how we do. Hey, clock keeper. I'm sorry. Bye. My fifth closing. Wait, that needs to be on the Jumbotron. There it is. Bye.
Well, goodbye. Goodbye.